And welcome back, Huskies Warming House Podcast fans. It's episode number 3 of the Tape to Tape Breakdown. This week, we'll be breaking down film between the St. Cloud State women's hockey team and the game that they played against the University of Minnesota Mankato. And this goal, Noah, was the game tying goal of a quick little transition play and a quick 2-on-0. Let's go ahead and get right to the tape as we bring it up. And Noah, sometimes in hockey, some of the plays that start out to seem really inconspicuous, just kind of harmless, and then a couple of bounces, a couple of really smart plays, some good reads, all of a sudden transition play happens and you get the puck in the back of the net. And for this one, certainly, again, you could say it on film, starts off pretty harmless.
Yeah, definitely. This is a game that St. Cloud State ended up winning their first conference win of the season on the road in a pretty gutsy finish, 2 goals in the third period. This one started them off. But as you can see right here, a really nice forced turnover by Hallie Theodosopoulos. Klara Hymlarova. Boom.
And again, it happens so quick, Noah, but let's go back to the beginning of the play. And really, this starts off, the really big key moment is the pass behind the Mankato forward here in the neutral zone. You can see when you're going through the neutral zone, that puck has got to be tape to tape. You can't have it behind you. This is really what sets up St. Cloud State for the quick transition going back towards the offensive side of the ice. As we roll forward just a little bit here, Noah, you're going to see again off the skate. And really, if you're going to have a puck behind you, if you want to actually let it go and hit the boards, worst thing you can do is actually deflect the puck back towards your defensive zone. This bounce is what starts the domino effect, as we like to say, for St. Cloud to go in on the offensive chance.
And it's one of those things you have to think about as a player, where when you're coming back, through the middle of the ice, as number 4 for Mankato is right here, you've got to understand that you've either got to adjust your body to try to catch this puck on your forehand, but if you're not, you've got to decide, like you mentioned, are you just going to redirect this puck down into the offensive zone, or are you going to try to turn your body on your backhand and corral this puck? Obviously there's no body contact in women's hockey, at least, not big open ice hits. So, you have the opportunity to corral the puck a little bit on your backhand here and do something with it. There's really good coverage by the St. Cloud State defenders here. They're both backing up, anticipating the play, but there's a lot of separation between them and a lot of time for this Mankato State player to probably corral this puck and at least be able to get this puck across the red line. And so, like you mentioned, got to be a better play than just trying to set up a teammate that is in a 50-50 puck battle with Hallie Theodosopoulos here.
Absolutely. So as we go right about here, we talk about Hallie Theodosopoulos. That'd be one thing we point out here. You talk about good stick check and just trying to create something out of nothing here. Again, the puck bounces off a skate, and then it's effectively a free puck. And then I don't know if the Mankato player is just not expecting the back pressure coming again from the St. Cloud State forward in Hallie Theodosopoulos, which applies really good back pressure. Knows she's probably not going to be able to make something in terms of getting possession, but right there, great stick lift to just let the puck essentially go through. But also, Noah, let's look at the top of the screen here. When you talk about why a pass in the neutral zone, why, as you mentioned, it has to be corralled or it's got to be a tape-to-tape pass. These Mankato forwards up at the top, 2 players going off in a change, they're expecting this puck to go 200 feet down the rest of the ice. This also is part of the reason why we're going to see essentially a 2-on-0 from the blue line in for the St. Cloud State Huskies.
Yeah, you got to make sure you're taking care of the puck. Bottom line, like we just talked about, if you're number 4 for Mankato, you've got to make sure that you get that puck across the red line and in before your teammates can initiate that change. And if you're her teammates, you've got to make sure that you're paying attention to the play and making sure that the puck is taken care of. And kudos, to the 2 St. Cloud State players on the opposite side of the ice, just above the Mankato Maverick logo there, is, their feet are already turned. They're already in a ready position, ready to turn back up the ice. And all that has to happen here is Hallie Theodosopoulos has to essentially just create this turnover, which she does. Really nice stick lift, good body position, and actually a really nice stick lift, because if you look at where she is, she's lost the foot race to this puck in some respects here. She should, probably be beat on this play, but she sticks with it. She gets a low center of gravity, good extension, good reach, doesn't take a penalty, and is able to force a turnover here, Nick. Goes back the other way.
She does it. I don't know there on the downswing of the stick if she does get a piece of this, but then you talk about that lone defender, at least from what I can see on the film for Mankato, again, just trailing the play. Again, that puck's turned over. She's skating forward. So again, you're talking about the player going one way, the puck's coming the other way, and then it gets by her. Looks like a bank off the boards. And Rotary right here, it's a 2-on-0, basically, right as I mentioned, from the blue line in. And again, we take a look at the north side of the ice. We have 1, 2, 3 Mavericks on the ice. It might be one Maverick behind the score indicator there, but they're essentially out of the play. So a complete breakdown from just, again, starting with a missed pass in the neutral zone.
And that's a good point here. You look at this defender right here, just inside the blue line. It's just kind of a no-no. I mean, the play didn't really develop. I mean, it developed on the opposite side of the ice towards the bench. So as a defender coming up the weak side of the ice, whether you're on offense or defense, you really shouldn't be outside the dots in this scenario, especially as the puck's going up the ice, because if that turnover does happen, you still are protecting the middle of the ice. And if the play does go down the ice for Mankato, well, now you're a trailer entering the zone where you're still in the middle of the ice and you're in a ready scoring position. So like you mentioned, a really bad breakdown here from Mankato, and St. Cloud, what a fantastic job being able to capitalize on this play here and get an opportunity right here.
And I love this from Hymlarova. It's the small details, Noah, that make this play so well. First of all, great weak side drive here from the St. Cloud State forward, but more so on Hymlarova. She has two things she can decide to do. She can certainly shoot the puck. As you can see, the Mankato goaltender is on top of the crease. She's square to the shot, and she glove is up, so she's in a good position there. Hymlarova, as a player, if the goaltender's over and set, you need to sell the shot if you're going to make this pass. And I wish we could frame up a couple of frames here. Hymlarova's going to just, I think, lift the elbow just a little bit, just drop the shoulder. As you can see, stick on the ice far side. It's on the tape. There's not a single player in a white jersey around her. This is a simple just tap and go from Hymlarova over to Olivia Nylund. Noah, that's going to eventually tap this puck in. And for a goaltender, as you can see, when Hymlarova's making this pass, the goaltender is going into the butterfly. She's committed to a shot, which means it's a wide open 6x4 on the weak side there for Jenniina Nylund to pop this one in the net.
Yeah, it might be Jenniina Nylund or Olivia Cvar. I can't really tell. Jenniina Nylund actually had the game winner in this game, so regardless, she got the job done, of course. But, like you talked about, this pass right here doesn't actually start until you can freeze this goaltender. Look at where this goaltender's feet are. Normally in a 2-on-0 as a goaltender, you're kind of almost getting ready to cheat to that opposite side, right? You're getting ready to kind of push off towards that blocker side, and you're knowing that pass is coming. But Hymlarova does a great job of making this goaltender respect her and that shot, and the way she sells it right here. Look at this right here. You've got kind of a bent front knee right here, but this back leg right here, right? This is, I mean, if you didn't already know in this play that this hand is opening up for Hymlarova to be passed across the ice, you could very well think that she is getting ready to try to kind of tuck this puck in and shoot it short side up here. So you look at the way this leg is here, she sells this, completely, and fools the goaltender here to take her out of the play on what you just mentioned should be a tap in, a bang bag play. But as a goaltender, you're kind of expecting that cross crease pass. So Hymlarova, what a fantastic job to get this goaltender to commit, and ultimately ends up in the back of the net for the same.
And I want to go back to that frame again, because when you talk about the defenseman and losing the middle of the ice and why that's so key here, again, when the puck gets turned over and she is way outside the dots, if you're a defender in this situation, at least you can take away the middle here. And let's go ahead and go back to Hymlarova is actually in that shooting position to discuss why this is so important. Because if we freeze it right here, if you can at least take away the weak side and at least allow the goaltender to just focus on the shooter, that makes the goaltender's job so much easier. So again, when you gave away that middle, when the defenseman committed, didn't read the play well and the turnover, and then can do a good transition from forward skate to back skate, didn't try to take away that middle of the ice there. She just kind of almost seemed like she was behind in terms of the hockey IQ per se. This opens up again the 2-0, and again, this is a goaltender's nightmare. 2-0, again, it's an easy play for any forward in this situation to sell a shot and go backdoor for that tap-in goal.
Yeah, you definitely, I haven't met a single forward. It is Olivia Cvar that does get the goal, looks like there, but I haven't met a single forward that likes any sort of disruption, right? Coming through the middle of the ice, you don't like anybody to try to get in your way in any way, shape, or form. I mean, if you're going to choose between a 2-on-0 and a 2-on-1, this is exactly what you're looking for here. And like you mentioned, Hymlarova, just really sells that here, with that leg kick. Just a fantastic goal all the way around, Nick, and just a really impressive transition, because it's a play that, you look at it, you say, oh, it's a 2-on-0, it must be a tap-in, it has to be a tap-in. But goaltenders aren't dumb, right? That goaltender doesn't, not anticipate that puck's going to be coming across the crease at some point. So Hymlarova just does a fantastic job. Really, that's where that play finishes off, and credit to Hallie Theodosopoulos for starting that play. You always like to see your hard work get rewarded right there. And Klara Hymlarova was the beneficiary of that turnover. And Olivia Cvar, what a cannon of a shot she's got. Going to be a really nice addition to the St. Cloud State lineup for the next 3 years. Of course, had the only other game winner actually in overtime at home in the last game of the year for the women's hockey team at home against Bemidji in overtime. So just a fantastic play, and excited to see them do it again. Much more from this freshman group that has been highly, highly effective.
And one thing that we haven't touched on, Noah, is that really what this clip emphasizes is how good defensive structure can help you create these opportunities. And we talk about the players with the puck a lot, but it's really important for the players without the puck to be reading the play, assessing it, and also taking advantage of a mistake, right? So again, we talked about the defensemen in the neutral zone in good position. You talk about the trailing forwards, and then again, when that puck is behind, they see it going back to the other way. They were turning it. They were already going for the puck again, a good stick lift. And then that presence to go into that weak side again, Olivia Cvar, and then again, Hymlarova going and attacking the puck. So everything going right, but it doesn't happen unless you have good structure defensively coming back into the back check. So again, if there's any one thing this clip should emphasize, is that good neutral zone structure and how it can create turnovers, and more importantly, get that transition game up forward, north and south up the ice.
Right, and lastly, to your point there as well, that play might have even arguably started even further back there with Olivia Hansen, a North Dakota native, not a big deal. And of course, her weak side defensive partner on that play, making that forward for Mankato that's getting ready to catch that puck in her feet feel like she doesn't have that time and space, or feel like she can't make a play here, forcing her to just try to drop that puck or try to be a little bit too cute with it. So all around, a great shift by the St. Cloud State women's hockey team. Unfortunately, Hallie Theodosopoulos has played her last game as a Husky, but we look forward to seeing the rest of them on the ice, and going to do some damage with a pretty good incoming freshman class as well if the season does happen to start.
Should be exciting to watch, no question about it, as long as, again, we have college hockey coming up to us this fall/winter. But with that, that will conclude episode number 3 of the Tape to Tape Breakdown. Noah Grant, I'm Nick Maxson, and we'll see you folks next week for episode number 4.